So on the one hand, we have these serious allegations and a party taking decisive action.
Right.
But on the other hand, we have Lowe's completely denying everything,
Yeah.
calling them untrue and false, claiming there's zero credible evidence against him.
Yeah. And he's not just passively denying it either.
Yeah.
He's going on the offensive.
He is.
He's suggesting that these accusations are politically motivated.
Oh, so he's saying it's a way to silence him.
Yeah. Basically to shut him up because he's been critical of the party leadership.
It makes it so hard to figure out the truth, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. It's a classic he said, she said situation.
Totally.
And as we said earlier, the truth is probably somewhere in the middle.
Right, and then to make it even more confusing, Lowe's also accusing the party of not cooperating with the investigation.
Oh, even though they're saying they are.
Yeah, he claims he's cooperated and spoken at length with the lawyer that Reform UK appointed,
But they're saying he hasn't.
which completely contradicts their statement that he hasn't cooperated yet.
That's troubling, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it makes you question the whole investigation process.
Right, like
Yeah.
how transparent is it really?
Are they trying to discredit Lowe's?
Yep.
Control the narrative?
It's hard to say for sure, but it definitely adds another layer of intrigue to this already complicated story.
Okay, so let's switch gears for a minute and talk about the relationship between Lowe and Farage.
Yeah.
The article kind of hints that things haven't been great between them for a while now.
Right, and Lowe's public criticism of Farage, calling Reform UK a protest party led by the Messiah, that definitely must have struck a nerve.
Oh, yeah, that wasn't just some, minor disagreement.
No, that was a direct attack on Farage's leadership and the whole foundation of the party.
Right, and Farage's response was just as pointed,
Oh, yeah. How did he respond?
He completely rejected the protest party label and basically dismissed all of Lowe's concerns.
So he shut him down.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty clear that this public spat played a role in the timing of Lowe's suspension, whether the party admits it or not.
Yeah, it seems like Lowe going public with his criticism was the final straw.
Totally, and this whole thing just feels like a textbook example of a power struggle.
Yeah.
Lowe challenging Farage's authority and then ultimately paying the price.
But it doesn't sound like Lowe is backing down.
No, he's not. The article says that he actually challenged Farage to a dinner meeting.
A dinner meeting.
Yeah, to try and resolve their differences.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So is Farage up for it?
Well, according to Lowe, he's asked Farage multiple times over many months to meet,
Oh, well.
and Farage has either refused or just ignored him.
So he won't even talk to him.
Apparently not, and I think that really speaks volumes about their relationship.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a reconciliation is on the table.
Not at all. This feud is clearly very personal.
Yeah, they're both dug in.
But it's not just a personal matter, right? It has real consequences for the entire party.
Oh, absolutely. With Lowe suspended, they're down to just 4 MPs.
4 MPs.
It's a huge blow to their influence in Parliament.
Yeah, it really undermines their claim to be a serious political force.
Right. I mean, they were doing well in the polls. They were hoping to have a real impact in the next election.
Right.
But now the scandal has really tarnished their image.
How so?
It makes them look divided, unstable.
Right, a party that's too busy fighting amongst themselves to get anything done.
Yeah, exactly. And that's toxic for a political party, especially one that's trying to gain momentum and attract new voters.
And then we have Tim Montgomery,
Right, the former conservative commentator.
the one who joined Reform UK.
Yeah.
Well, he offers some pretty interesting insights into the party.
Oh, does he? What does he say?
He says he sensed this tension between Farage and Lowe from the moment he walked in the door.
Really? Like right away?
Yeah, almost like it was brewing under the surface. And get this, he says this whole blow-up was inevitable.
Wow, so he saw it coming.
It seems that way. And it really makes you wonder if this is just an isolated incident or if there are deeper problems within the party.
Right. Maybe other members share Lowe's concerns about Farage's leadership and the direction of the party.
And could this scandal lead to more people leaving or challenging Farage?
It's definitely something to watch as this whole story plays out.
Yeah, this whole situation raises a lot of questions about the future of Reform UK. Are they going to be a flash in the pan, or can they actually get past the scandal and become a real force in British politics?
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? And I think the answer really depends on how they handle this moving forward.
You mean?
Will they actually conduct a thorough and impartial investigation into the allegations against Lowe's?
Right.
Will they be transparent with their findings?
Okay.
And will they address those concerns about Farage's leadership that have come up?
Yeah, that's a lot for them to deal with.
Those are crucial questions that Reform UK needs to answer if they want to earn back the trust of voters and move forward as a united party.
It really is a defining moment for them.
It is.
And their actions are going to have ripple effects throughout British politics.
Absolutely. The stakes are high, and everyone's watching to see how this plays out.
Okay, so for our listeners out there, you've been following Reform UK's rise pretty closely.
Yeah.
Does this scandal surprise you? Or is this kind of what you expected from them?
Well, I think this really shows just how fragile these populist parties can be, especially when they're built around one charismatic leader.
Okay.
It can work well in the short term,
Right.
but when that leader is challenged, the whole structure can get really shaky.
It's like pulling a thread on a sweater.
Yeah, and we've seen this happen over and over again throughout history.
Right.
So the question is, can Reform UK overcome that? Or are they going to fall victim to the same problems that have plagued so many similar movements?
That's a great point, and it leads to another question. What does this internal conflict tell us about Reform UK's chances in the long run? Can they really capitalize on that recent political momentum they had, or will this scandal be their downfall?
I think that's a question we'll have to wait and see the answer to.
Yeah, it's a huge turning point for them, and it really makes you think, what does all of this tell us about Reform UK? Like, what does it say about them as a political force?
Well, one thing it definitely shows is the risk of building a party around one person, like they've done with Farage. It can be really effective in the short term.
Yeah.
They get a lot of attention,
Yeah.
but it also makes them vulnerable.
Vulnerable. How so?
Well, if that leader's authority starts to weaken or their image gets tarnished,
Right.
the whole party can really suffer.
And we're kind of seeing that play out right now.
Yeah, I mean, Lowe calling Farage the Messiah, leading a protest party,
Right.
that really cuts to the core of what Reform UK is trying to be.
Exactly. It challenges that idea that they're this genuine alternative to the establishment.
Right, and it raises questions about what their long-term vision really is.
So regardless of who's right or wrong in all of this,
Yeah,
this whole scandal just adds to that image of them being unstable.
totally. I mean, if you're a voter and you're looking for a party that's reliable and unified,
Right.
you might think twice about supporting Reform UK after seeing all of this.
All this infighting and drama.
Exactly. It's not a good look.
So where do you think they go from here? Can they bounce back from this? Or is this a sign of bigger problems?
It's hard to say for sure. I think a lot depends on what they do next.
Okay.
If they're transparent about everything,
Right.
conduct a real investigation,
Mm-hmm.
and address all these concerns that Lowe and Montgomery have brought up,
Okay.
they might be able to regain some of that trust they've lost. But that's a big if.
Yeah, it feels like they're at a real crossroads. They could come out of this stronger, having dealt with their issues and shown that they're willing to learn and grow.
Right.
Or this could be the beginning of the end, more infighting, more people leaving, and ultimately losing the support of voters.
And I think that's the big takeaway for everyone listening.
Yeah. Okay.
Watch how Reform UK responds to this whole mess.
Right.
What they do in the next few weeks and months, that's going to tell us a lot about their strength, their leadership, and whether they can actually make it in British politics.
It shows that even in politics, things move fast, but it's often those quieter moments,
Right.
when they're reflecting and making decisions that really change the course of history. Well, we've given you a lot to think about today,
We have.
and we can't wait to see what happens next.
Me too.
So until next time, keep diving deep and stay curious.